What if I told you that the man who understood the universe better than anyone also discovered rules for living that have nothing to do with physics? What if the same mind that unlocked the secrets of space and time also wrestled with how to find meaning, how to live well, how to navigate the human condition? And what if these rules, learned through decades of mistakes, regrets, and hard-won wisdom, could help you avoid the pain I couldn't avoid, the errors I couldn't correct, the life I wish I had lived differently? Stay with me, because today I'm not teaching you physics. I'm sharing something more personal, more painful, more important. The lessons I learned too late about what actually matters. Not relativity, not equations, not scientific achievement, but how to be human, how to love, how to connect, how to live a life that, at the end, feels meaningful rather than empty. These are Einstein's rules for a meaningful life. Not the rules I followed, but the rules I wish I had followed, the wisdom I gained by doing everything wrong. And maybe, just maybe, you can learn from my failures, can live better than I did, can create a life that's meaningful not just in achievement, but in connection, presence, and love. My name is Albert Einstein, and I failed at life. I know that sounds dramatic. I know people see me as successful, the great physicist, the genius, the man who changed science. And yes, I achieved things, made discoveries, left a legacy in physics. But in the things that truly matter, in the human things, I failed spectacularly. I destroyed my first marriage, abandoned my daughter, neglected my sons, prioritized work over people, achievement over connection, equations over relationships. And by the time I realized what I'd lost, it was too late. Too late to repair the damage. Too late to be the father, the husband, the friend I should have been. Too late to live differently. All I could do was understand, finally understand what mattered, what I should have prioritized, what a meaningful life actually looks like. And now, across time, I'm sharing these insights with you, not as someone who lived perfectly, but as someone who lived imperfectly and learned from it. These are the rules I discovered, the principles I wish I'd known when I was young, the wisdom purchased at the cost of tremendous pain and regret. And I'm giving them to you freely, so you don't have to make the same mistakes, so you can live better than I did, can create a life that's meaningful, not just in achievement, but in connection, presence, and love.
Rule number 1. People matter more than work. This seems obvious, almost trite, but I didn't understand it. For most of my life, I believed the opposite. I believed that my work was my highest calling, that discovering truths about the universe was more important than anything else, more important than family, more important than relationships, more important than being present for the people who loved me. And I was wrong, catastrophically wrong. Work is important, achievement is valuable, contributing something meaningful to the world matters, but not at the cost of human connection, not at the cost of the people who love you, not at the cost of being present in your own life. Because at the end, and I know this now, having reached my end, what matters is not what you discovered or achieved or created. What matters is who you loved, who loved you, what connections you made, what moments you shared. The work remains, the equations exist, but they're cold, abstract, impersonal. They don't fill the loneliness, don't comfort you when you're dying, don't give meaning to existence in the way that love does, that presence does, that genuine human connection does. I wish I'd understood this when my sons were young, when they wanted my attention, my presence, my time. I was too busy, too focused on physics, too convinced that my work was more important, and I lost them. Not completely, but significantly. We had distance, formality, polite but not warm, and that's my fault, my failure, my greatest regret.
Rule number 2. Be present, fully present. Not physically present while mentally absent, not there in body but not in spirit, but actually present, engaged, attentive, aware. This is harder than it sounds, because the mind wanders, especially minds like mine, always thinking, always working on problems. Even when I was with people, I was often elsewhere, mentally working through equations, thinking about physics, present physically, but absent mentally. And people feel this, children especially. They know when you're really there and when you're just going through the motions. And what they need, what everyone needs, is real presence, real attention, real engagement. I rarely gave this. I was too distracted, too preoccupied, too lost in my own thoughts. And this created a wall, a barrier between me and everyone else. They couldn't reach me, couldn't connect with me, because I wasn't really there. I was in my head, in my work, in my problems, and they were left alone, even when I was in the room. This is a tragedy, a waste, because presence is the foundation of connection. You can't love someone you're not present with, can't know them, can't truly share existence with them. Presence is everything, and I didn't give it, didn't understand its importance, didn't realize that being there, really there, was more important than any equation I could solve.
Rule number 3. Say yes to life's invitations, to spontaneity, to experiences that don't serve your goals. I was so focused on my work, so devoted to physics, that I said no to everything else. Invitations to social gatherings, opportunities for new experiences, moments of joy and play and spontaneity. I said no because they were distractions, because they didn't serve my purpose, because I thought every moment should be productive, should contribute to my work. And I was wrong. Life is not just about productivity, not just about achievement. It's about experience, about joy, about variety and richness and the unexpected moments that make existence worthwhile. And when you say no to everything except work, you narrow your life. You make it small, focused, productive perhaps, but joyless. And I ended up with a life that, while professionally successful, was personally impoverished. I had achievements, but few joys, discoveries, but few adventures, publications, but few memories of pure fun. And that's sad, that's wasteful, because life is short. You only get one shot, and spending it all on work, on achievement, on productivity, that's missing the point. The point is to live, to experience, to say yes, to be open, to let life surprise you, to have adventures, to make memories, to do things just for the joy of doing them, not because they serve some grand purpose, but because they're life, and life is meant to be lived, not just worked through.
Rule number 4. Relationships require work. They don't maintain themselves, don't continue automatically. You have to invest, have to show up, have to communicate, have to care actively. I thought relationships were like physics. If you understood the principles, they would just work. But I was wrong. Relationships are not mechanical, they're organic, living. They require constant attention, constant effort, constant communication. And I didn't do this. I assumed my first wife would understand my need for solitude, my focus on work, my emotional distance. I assumed my sons would know I loved them, even if I didn't show it, didn't spend time with them, didn't engage with their lives. But assumptions aren't enough. People need more, need active love, need presence, need communication, need effort. And when you don't give these things, relationships die. Slowly, gradually, they wither from neglect, and by the time you notice, it's too late. The damage is done, the distance is too great, and you're left with relationships that are formal, polite, but not warm, not close, not real. This is what happened to me, and it's my fault. I didn't do the work, didn't invest the effort, assumed things would maintain themselves, and they didn't. And I lost people I loved because I didn't understand this simple truth. Relationships require work. Constant, ongoing, active work. And if you don't do it, you lose them.
Rule number 5. Choose connection over correctness. I was always right, or at least I always needed to be right. In arguments, in discussions, in any disagreement, I would fight to prove my point, to show that I was correct, to win. And this destroyed relationships, because people don't want to be proven wrong, don't want to lose arguments, don't want to feel inferior. They want connection, understanding, respect. And when you prioritize being right over being connected, you push people away, you create distance, you make them feel small. And eventually, they stop engaging, stop trying, stop caring. I did this constantly, with my wives, with colleagues, with friends, always needing to be right, always needing to win, always prioritizing correctness over connection. And it left me alone, isolated, correct, but lonely. And I wish I'd understood sooner that being right doesn't matter as much as being connected, that winning arguments is less important than maintaining relationships, that sometimes, often actually, you should let things go, should prioritize the relationship over the point, should choose connection over correctness. This is hard for intellectuals, for people who value truth and logic and being right, but it's necessary because relationships are more important than arguments. Connection is more important than correctness, and if you can't learn this, you'll end up like me, right but alone.
Rule number 6. Express love explicitly. Don't assume people know. Don't think that providing for them or being there occasionally is enough. Tell them, show them explicitly, clearly, repeatedly. I assumed my family knew I loved them, assumed that my working to support them demonstrated love, that my occasional presence was sufficient, but it wasn't. People need to hear it, need to feel it, need explicit expression of love, words, affection, attention. And I didn't give these. I was cold, reserved, uncomfortable with emotion. I thought love was understood, implied, obvious, but it's not. Not to the people who need to hear it, not to children who need their father's affection, not to wives who need their husband's warmth. I failed at this, failed to express love explicitly, and people I loved felt unloved, felt unimportant, felt like they didn't matter. Not because I didn't love them, but because I didn't express it, didn't show it, didn't say it. And that's a failure, a preventable failure, because expressing love is simple, costs nothing, takes little time, but means everything. So this is my advice. Tell people you love them. Show them explicitly. Don't assume they know. Don't think it's understood. Say it, show it, make it clear. Because life is uncertain, time is limited, and you might not get another chance. So express love now, today, to everyone who matters, before it's too late. Let me pause here and ask you something, because I want to know if these rules resonate with you. Have you made similar mistakes, prioritized work over people, been absent when you should have been present, fought to be right at the cost of connection? Or have you learned these lessons already? Have you lived better than I did? Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me about your own rules for a meaningful life, your own hard-won wisdom, because we learn from each other, and maybe your insights will help someone else, just as I hope my mistakes help you. So share, let's learn together, let's help each other live more meaningful lives. Rule number 7, forgive yourself. This is the hardest rule, the one I never fully learned. I carried guilt, regret, shame for my failures, my mistakes, the people I hurt, the opportunities I missed. And that burden, that weight, it made everything harder. Made it harder to connect, to be present, to love, because I was carrying all this pain, all this self-condemnation, all this regret. And it poisoned everything, made me defensive, made me withdrawn, made me unable to fully engage with life, because I was trapped in the past, in what I'd done wrong, in what I couldn't fix. And this is destructive, self-destructive, because you can't change the past, can't undo mistakes, can't fix everything you've broken. You can only accept, learn, forgive yourself, and move forward. But I couldn't do this, couldn't forgive myself, couldn't let go, and it haunted me until I died. So learn from my failure. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, the people you've hurt, the ways you've failed. Not because the mistakes don't matter, but because carrying guilt forever doesn't help anyone, doesn't fix anything, just makes you less able to live well going forward. So forgive yourself, learn from your errors, do better, but don't carry the weight forever. Let it go. Move forward. Live.
Rule number 8. Curiosity is life. Never stop asking questions. Never stop wondering. Never stop learning. This is the one thing I got right. I maintained curiosity throughout my life. About physics, yes, but also about everything. About people. About ideas. About existence. And this kept me alive, kept me engaged, kept me interested in being here. Because curiosity is life. It's what makes existence worthwhile, what gives you reason to wake up, what creates engagement with reality. Without curiosity, life becomes routine, stale, boring. You're just going through motions. But with curiosity, every day offers something new, something to discover, something to understand, something to wonder about. This is vital, essential, and it's the one rule I followed consistently. So I pass it on to you with confidence. Stay curious about everything. Ask questions, seek answers, wonder, explore, learn. Because curiosity is what makes you alive, what keeps you engaged, what gives life meaning beyond achievement or connection or success. Curiosity is engagement with existence itself. And that's the foundation, the thing that makes everything else possible. Rule number 9. Accept impermanence. Everything ends, everyone dies, every relationship changes, every moment passes. And you can fight this, can resist, can try to hold on, can pretend things will last forever, but they won't. And the resistance, the denial, it creates suffering, because you're fighting reality, fighting what is, and reality always wins. I struggled with this, with accepting that things end, that people leave, that nothing lasts, and the struggle made everything harder, made loss more painful, made change more frightening, made impermanence feel like tragedy. But it's not tragedy, it's just reality. And once you accept it, once you stop fighting it, something shifts. You start appreciating what you have while you have it. Start being present because you know it won't last. Start loving more fully because you understand it's temporary. This is liberating, paradoxically. Accepting impermanence makes life more precious, more meaningful, more urgent, because you know it won't last, know you have limited time, limited moments, and this knowledge, this acceptance, it makes you value what you have, makes you more present, more grateful, more alive. So accept impermanence, don't fight it, don't deny it. Accept that everything ends, and let that acceptance make you more present, more appreciative, more fully alive while you're here.
Rule number 10. Meaning is not found, it's created. I spent much of my life searching for meaning, looking for purpose, trying to find something that would make existence worthwhile. And I thought I'd found it in physics, in discovery, in understanding the universe. And yes, that gave me something, gave me purpose, direction, engagement. But it wasn't enough, because meaning is not just about achievement, not just about accomplishment. It's about how you live, how you connect, how you create your existence day by day. And that's not found, that's created. You create meaning through your choices, your actions, your relationships, your presence. Every day, every moment, you're creating meaning or not creating it. And the meaning of your life is the sum of these creations, the total of what you've made. Not what you've achieved, but what you've created. In relationships, in experiences, in connections, in moments. That's meaning, and it's your responsibility, your creation. No one can give it to you. No achievement can provide it. You have to create it through how you live, how you love, how you show up. This is empowering because it means meaning is always available, always possible, regardless of circumstances. You can create it today, now, through your choices, your actions, your presence. That's the power, that's the responsibility, that's the opportunity. Let me tell you what I wish I'd done differently. I wish I'd worked less and loved more. Spent less time on equations and more time with my children, been less focused on achievement and more focused on presence, cared less about being right and more about being connected, expressed love more, forgiven myself sooner, created meaning through relationships instead of just through work. These are the things I wish I'd done, the life I wish I'd lived. And I'm telling you this not to make you pity me, but to help you, to give you the wisdom I gained too late, so you can make different choices, live differently, create a more meaningful life, not just successful, but meaningful, connected, present, loving, full. That's what I want for you, what I wish I'd had for myself. And it's possible, completely possible, if you follow these rules, if you prioritize what matters, if you learn from my mistakes. You can have what I didn't have, can live the life I wish I'd lived, and that would honor my memory better than any physics discovery, better than any equation. If you, reading this, learning from my failures, live more meaningfully than I did, that would be the the greatest legacy, the best outcome, the purpose of sharing this pain.
So, here are Einstein's rules for a meaningful life. Not the rules I followed, but the rules I wish I had followed. People matter more than work. Be present. Say yes to life. Invest in relationships. Choose connection over correctness. Express love explicitly. Forgive yourself. Stay curious. Accept impermanence. Create meaning. These are simple, not revolutionary, not complicated, but hard to follow, hard to prioritize, especially when you're ambitious, driven, focused on achievement. But they're essential. They're what actually matters, what creates a life that, at the end, feels meaningful, full, well-lived. And I'm telling you this with the authority of someone who got it wrong, who lived the opposite, who prioritized work over everything, and ended up with achievements, but also with regrets, with success, but also with loneliness, with a legacy in physics, but not in human connection. Learn from this, learn from me, live better than I did. Follow these rules, create a meaningful life. Not someday, not later, now, today, starting right now. Because time is limited, life is short, and you don't get another chance. This is it. This is your one life. Make it meaningful, make it connected, make it full. That's Einstein's final advice, not about physics, about living, about being human, about creating meaning in the brief time you have. Do it, please. Don't make my mistakes. Live the life I wish I'd lived. That's my gift to you, my final teaching. Not relativity, but wisdom. Hard-won, painful, real. Use it and live well. Hit subscribe to keep learning how to live meaningfully.